I will never pretend to be another. I will never want to be another. I will not change who I am just to fit in. I am me. I am not perfect, but I'm working on myself. Working to become the best version of myself. I am working on myself to continue to expand my own self through my own work, in my own way. I am me.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm a little late, but I'm here. My name is Wanda God's Bread, and welcome to Watching Wanda's World on Wednesdays, normally at 8 p.m. But my guest tonight is so special, we altered the time, and we're coming to you at 9 tonight. I apologize for being late. Life is lifing. But tonight, I want to introduce to you first, I'm going to introduce her to you in a professional capacity, and then I'm going to tell you how I know her. This is Mrs. Tanya Bland Custis. Tanya is the VP, a VP at Harbor Bank. She is also my little sister, and the love of my life. We've known each other literally. We've grown up knowing one another. So Tanya is very special, near and dear to me. She is my best friend's little sister, therefore my little sister. So Tanya, I just want to say good evening and thank you so much for agreeing to come on tonight. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good evening. Good evening. Thanks for having me.
It is my pleasure. So I um I literally watched you grow up. We watched each other grow up.
Yes.
Um, I am so proud of you and the woman that you have become. I am
Thank
so
you.
proud to call you my little sister. And I am so proud of your many accomplishments.
Thank
So
you.
we're going to go back, with the sensitivity of your job. I do want
Yeah.
to acknowledge that you are a VP of a major bank in Baltimore City. But
Yeah.
I know you can't talk about so much because of security.
Absolutely.
But but I want to talk about how the girl that hated school,
Yes.
now has a bachelor's in what?
Masters. Yep.
Yes. And so she went from hating school to getting her bachelor's degree, and now she also has a master's degree.
I do.
So I want to talk about how did you go from hating school to deciding that you wanted to go to school and further your education? What was the catalyst behind that?
It actually was motherhood. So I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I hated school. I wasn't a bad student, but I just didn't like school.
Right,
Daddy, he was like, hey, you gonna go to school or you gonna work. So I
right.
opted, to enter into the work field. Um, I, I hated school, but then at 21, I became a mother. And I had different jobs. I tried working in the insurance industry, and then when I became a mother at 21, I just wanted more for my daughter. I wanted more, and I started, to throw around the idea with my now husband, that maybe I'll go back to school. I'm trying to, I need to make as much money as possible. I need to, enter into this career world. I just wanted so much for my daughter, and when my daughter turned 4. and she started pre-K, and we had the conversation again. My thing was I can't preach to her the importance of education, and just maximizing opportunities and just being the best her if I didn't feel as though I was being the best me.
I totally get that. So I know once we have those little people, we are inspired to create a life for them that because I know having my daughter changed the trajectory of how I proceeded in life. I think that had I not had her, I wouldn't have been as successful as I
Right?
became because I wanted to set the example.
Exactly.
And we had Tay on. She said, "Hey, sissy."
Hi,
I
Sissy.
I, I wanted to lead by example
Absolutely.
and everything. And at one point, you and I were actually in school together at Sojourner.
We were.
So,
We were.
oh my goodness, that used to be so fun walking past each other in the hallway.
Yes,
So
yes.
now going into just the outskirts of your career,
Hmm.
you started off, if I'm not mistaken, like at a front desk, correct?
I did. I
Tell us
did.
how you progressed. You started out at a very entry level
Yeah.
position, and tell us what you were doing, when you decided you wanted more, and what pushed you to go after it.
So I actually, and I had my daughter in 98 and I was 21. So
Hmm.
in 1999, that's when I'm like, okay, I have to do something. I used to make some changes. I'm trying to, get into a career. I needed
Hmm.
better benefits. You start to think about all of this when you become a mother.
Right.
So I actually um, went in at Harbor Bank. And I started there in 1999. And the only thing that they were hiring for at the time was a front desk receptionist.
Hmm.
And I started there in 1999. And it was, I had my interviews and I actually met with the then president. And he was just, he was a godsend. But at the time, I met with him, I interviewed with him, and he's like, this isn't the job for you. And when he said it, it kind of offended me. I'm like, I'm young, I'm trying to, get into this career. Why would he, shoot me down and tell me that this isn't for me? So I actually, I was offered the position. I started there, and within like a week's time, he came to me and said, "So how do you like it?" And I told him, no disrespect, but I'm bored. He said, "I told you this wasn't the job for you. It's not challenging enough for you." And he
Hmm.
actually said, I want you to go into the loan department. And he said, I think that, you'll gain a wealth of knowledge. He said, I think that that's where you'll grow. And I think that that will be best for you. And by the next week, he transferred me to the loan department and I started kind of at the entry level there. So I came there and I kind of was like a file, almost like a file clerk. So I
Hmm.
went from that, and then like again, my daughter turned 4, and I was like, okay, so I had been there for about 4 years, and I'm like, no, I want to grow. I need more money. I want more, for my daughter, for my family. So that's when I started as Sojourner, and I
Hmm.
went through and I finished in 3 years. I got my bachelor's, and as soon as I got my bachelor's, I was promoted to like a loan documentation assistant. So there I was doing the documents for, for loan closings. Um, then I could think about maybe 3 years after that, I got pregnant with Cameron, my son. And
Hmm.
my thing, I wanted more. I was like, I loved it. I liked what I was doing. It was just, I loved what I was doing, but I wanted more. Again, I wanted
Hmm.
more. Now I'm going to be a mother times two. So I'm
Right.
like, I want more, and pregnant with Cameron, I graduated from Sojourner while I had my daughter. Then I went on to get my master's. And as soon as I got my master's, then I was promoted to a loan documentation manager.
Oh,
So
okay.
then from there, yep. So I was there, and I did that job for probably about a little under 10 years, and then I became an assistant vice president
Hmm.
at the bank, and did that for about maybe 5 years, and now I'm a vice president at the bank.
So now, if you can, and if I
Mhm.
ask something that you can't talk about, just let me know. What does your job duty, your job title entail? Like, what do you have to do?
So I am actually the vice president of the loan servicing department. So
Mm-hmm.
my department is they're responsible for servicing all the loans that the bank holds. So we have, whether it's mortgage loans, consumer loans, commercial loans. My department service those. So any type of service and functions, we do that. We're doing escrow. We're doing I balance like all of the general ledgers
Mm-hmm.
uh, for the bank, all of the general ledgers and the reports that are produced for board reporting. So I'm responsible for all of that.
So, how many people do you have working? I don't like to say underneath, but how many
Right.
people um, are you managing?
So I have two people that work with me right now. I have two young ladies, and I love it because they're young. They
Hmm.
one she's 26. She's the same age as my daughter, and then
Right.
it's another young lady that's 32. And I love it because I kind of see myself in them, and like everything with them, they're constantly coming in my office, they're trying to pick my brain, and I love it because I just feel like one of the young ladies was expressing that she's interested in going back to school. I talked to her about that, and,
Uh-huh.
and I love it with the two young ladies that I have under me right now because I just really see myself in them. And I'm very big on, helping. If you can help pull someone out up,
Hmm.
and I talk to them about my story. And, I didn't come in as a vice president. I didn't come in
Right.
as a sister. I came in as a front desk receptionist, and I tell them if
Right.
I do that, you can do it. And I always tell them the goal is for you to have my job, like that. That's the goal. So yeah, I
And
have two
that's
young
what I like. I like your spirit in that, you're not gatekeeping, as they say.
out of
Um Oftentimes in our community, once we make it, it's like instead of reaching down and pulling the next person up, it
right.
becomes the crab in the barrel syndrome.
Yes, yes,
And what I love about you and your energy is that you're mentoring while you're teaching them, like you said, you see yourself.
right,
Now, with doing this job, what would you say, or what do you say, because you have the two young ladies, what do you say to them to inspire them and to motivate them to want to press forward? Because I'm a strong component. You know my life story. We're not going to get into that, but I'm a strong proponent of, you don't have to be a product of your environment or circumstance, and
absolutely.
that the only limitations that you have, um, the only limitations that you have are the ones that you put on yourself.
Right.
Tay says she's taking after her big sister.
Absolutely, I sure I am.
Exactly.
I am.
And I am so proud to be a part of this family, because after you've been friends for so long, it's no longer called friendship.
No, it's family.
We are sisters. I am
Absolutely.
proud to be the the third child of a very, very distinguished family. You
Yes.
all are like the Huxtables. You all are truly like the Huxtables.
Yeah,
So
my and daddy, they are definitely the true MVPs.
So now, what did mommy say to you along the way? Like, was it totally just like, I just want to make a better life for me and my family? what advice did you get from mommy and daddy, and how did they push you along?
Well, mommy and you know how mommy and daddy are. Mommy, she's just the lovable one. She's gonna love up on you. She's gonna let me tell you, mommy, it didn't matter what position I took, what career path, mommy was gonna be right there rooting for me in my corner, and she's just the best. So mommy, her thing was just always, telling you just be the best you. You give
Hmm.
100% all the time. You are, you are a beautiful person. You have a beautiful inside. You just you push and you go out here and you get it. Daddy, of course, he's a little rough. He's a little tougher. So, he raised Shantae and I like we were boys. So,
Right, right.
everything with daddy was look, nothing out here is free. Ain't nothing gonna be given. He gave it to us. Nothing is free. Nothing's gonna be given to you. You get out here, you pull your bootstraps up.
Hmm.
You want it, then you gonna have to go get it. Daddy
Exactly.
wasn't. He wasn't pulling any punches, and his thing was always whatever you choose to do, whatever path you take. You make sure you give 110%. You be the best at whatever it is that you choose to do in life. His thing was, mediocrity. That's unacceptable. That's never gonna fly. So his thing was, whatever you're gonna do out here, you're gonna do it, and you're gonna do it to the best of your ability.
Exactly. And they
Yeah.
instilled that. Hi, Arlene. I love you. Goody is watching.
Hi, Goody.
And and that's what I like. And I got that too, because when you look at me as a woman, and when people see me, they see me emulating your mom. Your mom is my mom. Your mom mentored me. She took me under her wing and she taught me that, like, I remember she said, once you become a mom, there's no such thing as pride. And
Absolutely.
don't ever be afraid to open your mouth and say that there's a need, or and she pushes you, but with a gentle touch.
Yes, yes. She definitely pushed you, but mommy, she's just so sweet. Like she is just
Yes.
so sweet, and she's gonna tell you what you need to hear, but she's gonna do it in such a loving and nurturing way. That's mommy.
Right. And I love her so much. She taught me how to be a real woman.
Yes,
And that's honest.
yes.
That's just what it is. Now, where do you hope, are you where you want to be, or what is the next step in your career path?
So, you know me, no, yeah, I'm not where I want to be. You know me, I definitely, what I always say, I'm always going to chase the bag. I'm always going to.
Exactly.
So, the next step from where I am right now is to be a senior vice president of the bank.
Okay.
And the next position, and the one thing I love with my boss, so my boss is the chief credit officer of the
Mm-hmm.
bank. So that I report to the senior vice president, who's the chief credit officer. And what I love is anything, she teaches me everything. I mean, she sit down with me, she mentors me, and she's another, just strong black woman. And her thing
Mm-hmm.
to me is always, your job is to take my job. When I walk out of here, she's like, I'm helping you, I'm molding you, I'm prepping you so that you will be able to transition into my job.
I love that.
Yeah.
Your job is to take my job. I
Hmm.
like that. Now, in order to get to that next level, it is more schooling required, or
Oh, so it's not so. One of the things, the funny, my boss, so the
mm-hmm,
position that I held before, which was the loan documentation manager, she was the loan documentation manager.
mm-hmm.
So then my boss, this job that I have here, this was the position that she had. So
Okay.
now the next position, the position that she holds right now, I'm like, okay, give me a couple more years. I told her, she was like, give me a couple more years. I'm out of here and it's yours, So that, and I would not have to go back to school for that unless that's just something that I opted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that she do, I sit with her, on a weekly basis. Um, everything, I pretty much know, what her day to day entail.
Mm-hmm.
And anything new that's coming her way, she's sitting down. I'm in meetings with her,
Okay.
almost on a weekly basis. So it's almost like she truly is prepping me for, she whatever happened, whenever she retired, whenever she move on or promoted or go elsewhere, she definitely is prepping me for that position.
So you were a young mom. You had Tayana,
Yeah.
and then a couple years later, you had my Cam. And I
Mhm.
used to love the Cam stories. I used to live for a Cam story because he was funny. Oh,
Ooh.
Cam was a hoot. But so, do you find it hard, like, or they're older now,
Mhm.
but the work life balance, how did you maneuver when they were younger and you trying to go to school? Because you worked full time, you did
Yeah.
school full time,
Yeah.
and you had children and a husband.
Yeah. Yes.
So
Yes.
let's talk about that work and home life balance. How did you maneuver it all?
I have to be honest. And also the other layer to that is I had two kids who were athletes. So
Right,
I had,
exactly.
my daughter played basketball and she played AAU and was constantly traveling. My son was playing basketball and football. So I
Right.
had all of that. But I have to tell you, my husband, hats off to him. He was my right hand man. We did what we had to do. Some if I when I was in school, he was there. He would help Tiana with her homework. He was cooking dinner,
Hmm.
put it in the bathtub. He was doing everything that he needs to do. As I,
Right.
going to get my master's when I was in school, he was right there. If one of them had a game, then he would be with my daughter. I'm with Cameron. We just and it when you're in the midst of you don't even really think about it. It
You
has to
just
be
know you
done.
got to do it and it's
It
going to
has
get
to be done.
done.
And he was working, and I have a strong, my family, my village. I
Right.
have strong, strong, strong support system. So if it were times, and I couldn't swing it, or my husband couldn't. Daddy was right there. Daddy was at every practice with Tayana taking her. I mean, there was a plenty of times, Shantae, when me and Shantae would hit the
Hmm.
road, we were riding, going out of town for basketball tournaments or football. So my village, my husband was my rock. He was my right hand. But my village is small, but my village is strong.
And when you talk about the village, because like you said, Tayana was playing basketball, Cam played football, and he did basketball too, right?
He did, yeah.
So were you like sitting in the bleachers with the books and like how? Like
Let me tell you how what we would do. I literally can remember it was times I would be at the games, I would be sitting in the bleachers, I would be on the football field, and as soon as the games were over, I would come home and I would sit down at the computer and my husband would put the kids to bed, he would go to bed, I would be at the computer doing my homework, the sun would be coming up, and I was still at the computer turning in those 32-page uh, assignments. And it was like it had to be done. My goal. I knew what the end, what the end prize was. So it was like me not doing it wasn't an option. So I literally, would sit at the computer. They would go to bed. The sun would come up, and I was still at that same computer. I would close that computer up, go get in the shower, put on my work clothes, dress the kids, and we'll leave out.
So at any point, like you, how long have you and Pernell been married now?
So we have been, Pranav and I have been together for 29 years.
It does not seem like.
29 years, and we have been married for 19. Matter of fact, our anniversary was just May the 20th. Yep.
Wow. Well, happy belated anniversary.
Thank
And
you.
you just recently had a
I
birthday.
did. Yes.
And looking good, mama. Looking
Thank you.
good.
Thank you.
So at any point, like with you striving and doing all of this and going to school and everything, did at any point it put a strain? Because you know our men, they require attention. You
Right.
know, they want attention, and again, that work home life balance.
Right.
Did it, was it stressful, or was it, you know,
You know what? In all actuality, it wasn't. And and it's as strange as it may sound. When Pernell literally, I mean, it would be times, and he would just say, "Well, why don't you just go? You know, go to the library. Just get out the house and go do." He
mm,
never, he wanted the absolute best for me. He never, and Pernell at first he didn't cook. So then,
right.
he had to learn how to cook because he had to feed the kids. Look, and that's why to this day, Cameron's like, I don't want that pot meat because Pernell would cook everything in a crock. Look, Shantae laughs to this day. Cameron is like, I don't want that pot meat. And he didn't want anything baked because Pernell couldn't fry. He could bake things and he would cook in a crock pot. But no, he never ever, like, he made it so easy for me. Even though it was hard, it was challenging, it was a
Hmm.
lot of times it was tough. I would, feel defeated, and
Hmm.
he was always just so encouraging, and he always was like I got, do what you gotta do, I got this, and that was always his, I got this, I got you, I got this. And he was always so supportive, and then when I, felt defeated, it was always those encouraging words, from my mother and my sister, just encouraging me to, keep on pushing. But Pernell was truly, 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 he was just always so supportive, and he didn't put any pressure on me, and he always was like, I got you, just do what you got to do, I got you.
And that makes all the difference in the world. Like, unfortunately, I can no longer work. But I refuse to just sit by. He got me when I bought you that. Shantae is talking about the crock
I
pot.
told you Cameron was hot. Shantae brought us a crock pot. He was
But it's nothing, like it's hard enough when even in the social media world, you come across so many negative spirits and energies and everything, so it makes all the difference in the world, no matter what your profession is or what you're trying to do, when you have a supportive mate, when you're battling the world. Because like, I feel so good that you battle outside in the streets. You don't have
right.
to come home and battle. You get that support. You get that
Yeah,
rub on your back. You get that,
right. And
and
take
that
that
means
armor. You take
everything.
that armor off. Yep.
Exactly, exactly. And you can be vulnerable, and it's because I know when I was going to school, there were times, and of course, I hadn't met Eric at the time,
Mhm.
and I just remember how stressful it was, and sometimes you literally, I know I did, because I was working at Verizon full time, and
Yeah.
maintaining a house,
Yep.
and sometimes you sit and you just got to have a good cry, because
Yeah.
it gets,
Yeah.
you got this 30 something page thing that you got to write, and you still got to go to work, and you
Oh,
still got this kid that needs your
yeah.
attention,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and where do you see yourself going? What's your 5 year plan and your 10 year plan?
So my 5 year plan, um, my 5 year plan. I definitely still see myself. I love banking. I love what I do.
Hmm.
So I definitely see myself within 5 years becoming a senior vice president of the bank.
Okay.
Definitely see that. My 10-year plan is not only do I want to be the senior vice president, but I also want to shift. Like right now, I'm doing the servicing,
Hmm.
in the lending department. I want to shift it, and it is my goal within the next 10 years to move over to doing the chief credit operations, the
Okay.
part of the bank. I definitely want to move into, and try my hand at that. I've been, doing documents and servicing, for years now. So I'm definitely being prepped, and I definitely within 10 years see myself as a senior vice president and moving to the chief credit office position.
Okay. And then you have a beautiful little grandbaby.
I
Y'all, can
did.
y'all believe that this beautiful woman is a grandmother?
I am a grandma. Yeah.
And Story is just the absolute most precious thing. When she leaped into my arms at Shantae and Black's anniversary party, she stole
Yes.
my heart.
She's a
But
sweetheart.
what will be the words you use to motivate her, like when you talk the Story as she gets older and she's deciding what she wants to be in life, what are the words of wisdom you're gonna impart on her?
I'm always going to tell her to just be her true self. Whatever it is that make whatever path you take, let it be something that you like, let it be something that you love, let it be something that you enjoy. Because when you're doing something that you love or you enjoy, you're going to give 110%. If it's something that you really don't like and you're just doing it, you're going through the motions, I feel like you're not going to excel at it the way you would if it's something that you love. So I don't care what it is what it is that you want to do in life, but whatever you do, just always be true to yourself. Always
Mm-hmm.
do something that is meaningful. Always, be that person that always give back.
Mm-hmm.
Always help the next sister, and just whatever you choose to do, I don't care what it is, love it, and make sure you are the best at whatever it is that you have to do in life.
And that's what I used to tell my daughter. School isn't for everyone, and I get it. So I didn't push that on her. She tried it. She decided and it wasn't for me.
Right.
I did it. I started school, and after Tweety passed away, I just couldn't get my mind back in the game. But what I used to impart to Deja was just give me your best and
Absolutely.
don't compare yourself with anyone else,
Right.
because all you can do is show up as your authentic self
Absolutely.
and give me your best effort. Even in high school, if you bring me home a C, I'm not exactly happy about it, but if that's your best, then I'm gonna take that C. But don't
Absolutely.
don't be able to give me an A and bring me a C.
I have said those are the exact words that I've always told my children. I've always told them that, like, if you bring me home a C, and I've always said it, if you have given your all and that's the
Hmm.
best, guess what? I'm going to celebrate you, and we are going to be happy with that C as if it was an A. If that was the
Exactly.
best that you could, then I'm good with that.
Exactly. And that's something that you don't always get credit for the words of wisdom, and my circumstance with, and won't go all into that,
Right.
but all you can do, even as a parent, like I love the relationship you have with your children. I love the relationship that your children have with each other, because they got each other for that 100 grand.
Ooh, yes,
And
yes,
what I love about the Bland family is that you all are so tight and
yes,
intertwined, like nothing and no one comes in between you all.
yes,
And for mommy and daddy to consider me the third child, like that's like such an honor for me, you know. But as you go forth, like when you retire, yeah, let's go there. Where are we retiring to? Like when you get to that point.
you know what? When it's time for me to retire, I definitely see myself not in Maryland anymore. Like I just wanna, I'm telling you, I wanna go somewhere where it's some palm trees and some
Yes.
nice warm weather. You know, that's where I see myself. So I'm by that time, you know, my kids will Tayana will be 26, Cameron will be 19, you know, so I'm like when I retire and I figure I probably have about another 15, 20 years. But
Right.
I definitely see myself going somewhere where it's just some nice warm weather and some palm trees. That's where I see myself. So
And
yeah,
so now when you have to see what is your piece? Like I know for me, Tanya, family is everything. My girlfriend Lisa said family is everything.
let me tell you, my
Um,
father, one thing daddy always, and you talk about the closeness of, you know, my family, and especially how my sister and like, I am my sister's biggest supporter. I brag on her more. You know, she's very humble.
right,
She's not going to talk to you about, you know, her accomplishments. I brag on my sister so
girl,
much. You know, it's
especially
like
with
pulling
what's
teeth.
coming in up the pipe. Oh, what happened? Wait a minute. Uh-oh. We're gonna give it a moment. There you go. Okay. I
I know.
see.
Did I get you back?
Yeah, I can see you. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, T? Okay. Can you hear me, baby? Can you see and hear me?
Oh no.
I see you and I can hear you. Okay, we're gonna give Tanya a moment. Okay, hold on 1 second.
You see
Okay, there
me?
you are. I
Look,
can
I'm like,
see.
oh no, what happened?
It's okay. Look, real live TV. You know,
Ooh. Look,
no
and the funny thing is, I look, and guess what happened? Guess what happened?
what?
My 26-year-old just called me on FaceTime. That's what
Tell Tayana we doing an
happened.
interview.
I'm like, look, it could pop up FaceTime, Tayana. I'm like,
Right, right.
but
My niecey
but
poo.
no, yeah, said she go call the mommy.
That's
But
my
no,
selfie
one of the
partner.
things. Yes. One of the things that daddy always, when I tell you, he always instilled in us, it was like he will always tell Shantae and I, like, it is the two of you against the world. And that's what
Hmm.
he always, he was like, let me tell you something, nobody cares for you all outside of these four walls. It is
Right.
you and your sister against the world. And that's just what he always, and we just went through life. You know, that's why the family is so close. I'm so close to my sister. And
Hmm.
it's like me and my sissy is my world. So
Me and
that's just how
Shantae
it
talk
works.
all the time about when I first came in the picture. Tanya was like, "Who's this chick
Like,
trying to?"
who is she? And
And
why is she
who is
calling
she
you?
talking about? She my sister. She- and then and then lo and behold, after several years, she said, "Oh, I guess she all right. I can share
Yes, and
my
I was like,
sister with her."
oh, I have two big sisters. Look, I was so happy. I have two big sisters.
And I love you so much. I like
I
I
love
don't
you.
know if I've ever told you, but I am so proud of you and the
Thank
woman that you've
you.
become.
Thank
You're
you.
so classy. Now you'll still kick ass and take names later.
I'm a work in progress.
Right, right. And we all are, but I am so proud of you and the woman and the mother and the wife and the career person that you are. Like
Thank
you
you.
do it with style and grace, and
Yeah.
it's when I think back to Tanya back in the day, the little midriff, and because my boo was, she was so cute. Oh my goodness, my baby, and still is, as you can see.
Thank you.
But it's like to be a part of the sisterhood, and when I finally got your approval, because you was the last one, like, yeah, I don't know about this chick here. And then we, the three of us, had this bond, and we slowly let a few more people in
Right,
slowly.
right.
And then there were a couple that didn't quite make the cut.
Yeah. They fell off. They fell off quick.
Ah! So it's like I I I don't know if you mind talking about this too, because we
Mhm.
share something else. We both have struggled with our weight,
Yes.
and how and going through, because I just, we're talking as sisters.
Mhm.
This is we all over the place, and that's what I want it to be, because I I want to bring positivity with this podcast. I want to bring positivity. I want to bring authenticity. I want to show people, because I don't know if you saw the podcast where I talked about my chronic pain, and it was no makeup, it was sniveling, it was snot, and um because so many people are struggling with things, and
Right.
they feel alone, and
Mhm.
I share my weight loss journey, and talk about that. I share my chronic pain, and I even share my depression, but I also share my talents. It's never about a woe is me. It's never about a Debbie Downer. It's to share and
Right.
say it's okay to have a bad day, as long as you
Mhm.
don't live in that space. It's
Right.
okay to struggle, but each day just make a step towards positivity. Like, if you're trying to
Right.
lose weight, don't try to do everything all at once. Take baby
Not at
steps.
all.
If you
Right.
use 3 teaspoons of sugar in your tea, tomorrow try to use two. So
Absolutely.
So, in your weight loss journey, what did you find to be the most challenging, and how did you maneuver your weight loss journey?
So for me, I struggle. It I my weight gain seems to have happened, of course, after I had my children.
Mm-hmm.
So, teenage years didn't deal with weight,
Right. Oh,
with
girl's
weight
body was
gain.
snatched.
Yeah,
Body yada yada
right.
yada.
It was yes, it wasn't until I was probably in my 20s and after
Mm-hmm.
I had my children, and it was like it was so hard for me to lose the weight. So I struggled for years and years and years. And it's something about when you go to the doctor and your doctor's telling you, that you're pre-diabetic, and your doctor is telling you that your blood pressure is sky high. He's threatening to put you on blood pressure medication, and he's threatening, for you to now have to take insulin. You kind of step back and you say, okay, and I was young, I was still in my 20s. So
Right.
I was probably in my later 20s, mid to late. And, I had two children. So I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, I have children that I have to live for. Again, my thing for me, my children fuel me, and I'm like, I'm a young mother. My children need me around. I need to be, again, the best me, the healthiest version of myself. So,
Mhm.
and I kept going to the doctors, and, he's like, okay, I'm going to give you 3 more months, and he's like, if you come
Right.
back this last time, this is it. So, I had to get serious about it. And, it's been years now that I've been a pescatarian. I don't eat meat.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
mean, I woke up one morning and I literally was like, you know what? Like I something has to give, So I
Right.
went through dealing with, going to the nutritionist. I went through all of the getting the B12 shot. I did it all.
You
I
did
did
it
the
all.
B12 shot. I did the medic, popping the pills, trying to. I mean, I did everything, and sometimes it would, be a fast, drop some pounds, but then it seemed like the weight would always come back, and it seemed like it would come
Plus
back times
more.
two. Yeah, times two.
Mhm.
So I got to the point and I'm like, okay, for me, the fast, the little fads, all these different weight loss, pills and diets, it just wasn't long term. It wasn't working for me. So that's when I had to be like, okay, I have to change literally my way of living. My lifestyle, my eating, I had to change everything. And the hardest thing ever for me was cutting meat out. Right?
Mhm.
I did. And that's where I saw my best, results. When I totally stopped eating meat for a while, I wouldn't even eat seafood. For a while it was just like vegetables. But I had to do what I had to do because
Right.
I had children, and my fear was that I wasn't going to be around to raise my children.
So when you like, cause I've experimented with being a vegetarian, and then for a while I was a pescatarian.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm sort of somewhere in between, and especially in the summertime, I don't eat a lot of meat or whatever. So what I do is everything in moderation. One thing I've learned is that I don't deny myself anything,
Right.
because if you give yourself one of those restrictive diets, and that's another thing, the dieting, it has to be a
Yeah.
lifestyle
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
when we accept that, but when you're restrictive to yourself, eventually you're gonna gorge because you're being so hard on yourself. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
allow myself everything in moderation.
Yeah.
Like I eat off of a saucer.
I
I
do
don't
too.
I don't
Yep.
use a big plate.
I
My
absolutely.
portion sizes are my palm.
Call the palm of your hand. Yep.
Exactly, because our bodies only require that palm.
Yep.
Everything else is just that we like the taste of it and gluttony, you
Agreed.
know. And once I realized that, and then I gave myself a range. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I have my high range and my low range. I do a 20 pound range, and as long as I'm
Okay.
within this 20 pounds. But when I start getting to the higher end, then I become more disciplined, not
Mm-hmm.
strict,
Okay.
but more disciplined.
Right.
But I never go beyond this certain point. And
Okay.
then with
That's
me
okay.
and my back issues, remember, like a year and a half ago, I lost a lot of weight. and
Yes, you did.
and that was because I was so sick of the doctors telling me, and you go into the doctor's office and you're 5 pounds overweight and everything is your weight, your weight, your weight when
Yep.
you come to
Yep.
any type of pain that you're having,
Yep.
instead of them doing the work. So I said, eh, I'm a very determined person. So I said, I took weight off the table. I got down to 145 pounds. Eric hated it.
Ooh. Ooh. Oh my
Girl, you
goodness.
could. I had a body like you used to have back in the day. Girl, you couldn't tell me
Oh
nothing.
my goodness.
But
Jeez.
I did it because I got tired of the doctors going to that and just saying wait instead of
Yep.
diagnosing me. You
Exactly.
know.
Exactly. Yep.
Um Now I ain't gonna lie, it felt so good going to the store. Be like, I need a size 6.
Ooh, right? Oh my goodness.
I had gotten down. He hated it, but I
You
was
were
living my
small.
best
You
life.
had gotten extremely, yeah,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
living my best life, but everybody else was hating it. So with that, like, and I'm just, like I said, we kicking it. We kicking it.
Right.
Shantae talking about a damn 6. But it's like we have to do everything. And one thing I also learned, like, and I don't know if you did this too, like, uh, our parents or whatever used to say for everything for the kids and the kids come first. For me, I had to come. Lisa, they giving me angry faces. They hated it when I lost Claudette. I was loving it, but with me, I say I have to come first because if I'm not right for me, I can't
That's
show
true.
up for anybody else.
That's so
And
true.
so
That's
many
true.
people have debated with me on that, but it's like, think about it. If you're not in your best frame of mind, if you're not at peace, if you're not, how can you be peace to someone else if hell is
That's
going
so
on
true.
within you?
That's
You
so
know?
true. Yep.
So I what is it like in your journey? Like, do you see it as like your kids come first or do you come first?
You know what? And that is something that I have to be honest, I've always struggled with.
Mm-hmm.
Because in all honesty, I've always put myself on a back burner. I've always everything, I've always been my children, my children, my children. And you can hear probably just in with us talking here, everything with me. I went to school because I wanted the best for my children. I lost
Mm-hmm.
weight because my doctor was saying these and I needed to live for my children. So it's starting to now because my children are older, because my daughter is out on her own, my son is getting ready to go away to college,
Mm-hmm.
and Pranell and I sit and talk, and my husband's like, it's time for you, and he'll tell me it's time for you. You need to live for you. You need to do what makes Tanya happy.
Right.
Forever you've always put the kids first. You put our family first. It's time for you to do what makes Tanya and I've always put Tanya on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
now now I'm like, okay, I'm kind of like I raised my kids, my they're doing good. My son's going to go off to college. Now I need to enjoy life. I need to enjoy and do what makes Tanya happy and just enjoy life for Tanya.
And you know what? One thing I learned because I got a couple years on you
Hmm.
is that as stages of your life, you have to reassess because as we get older, our priorities shift.
Yes.
So I take stock every 3 to 5 years to see how has Wanda evolved. Um,
Mm.
does the same things that made me happy 5 years ago still apply? And
Oh,
then
okay.
what what brings Wanda peace? You
Mm.
know, so do you take stock of your like how you're changing and evolving as like because now you don't have young kids like So now
Right.
you can focus more on yourself. You can love on that
Yeah.
beautiful grandbaby, and
Yeah.
you know, and how that's a question. Here we go.
Uh
What's the difference? How different are you with Story than you were with the kids?
oh. So, Story is the apple of 90. I'm 90. The apple
Not
of 90's eyes. She does no wrong in my eyes. That is my baby. So with my kids, you know me, I was definitely the disciplinarian. You
right,
know, I was a very, very no nonsense mom.
right. So was
So with
I.
Story, let me tell you something. Story has 90 wrapped around her finger. And
Oh,
she just sees the sweet, lovable side of 90. She doesn't see that stern side that my kids saw.
girl, she is just, and she's a diva. But then
Yes,
it's a family full of divas.
that's my little mini me.
Right, right. Now, as Cam is about to go off to college, Tayana's already out the house, and you're about to be
Mhm.
an empty nester.
Yes, yes.
How are you feeling about that?
You know what? I'm excited, and I'm so we are so looking forward to that next chapter. You know, funny, we actually just had a conversation earlier today, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like it our trips for years was always around our kids because we were always state to state to state, you know, with our kids for basketball, with AAU, for football. So all of
Mm-hmm.
our traveling was, I mean, even trips to Disney World, but we were still on, you know, going away for trips for basketball. So we had
Right.
a conversation actually today, and we are so looking forward to being empty nesters, and we are just looking forward to traveling and just enjoying, you know, us. You know, for so long we've been together for 29 years. Our oldest is 26. She'll be 26 this. So, you know, 3 years we were together, and then we became parents and we raised,
Right.
you know, our kids. So it's like now we just feel like it's our time, and I can't wait.
What you say? I can't wait.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm so looking forward to this next chapter.
So, what are some of the things that you guys are planning on doing? Is it because I said with me, Shantae said y'all ready to walk around any kind of way.
Absolutely. Yes, yes.
Oh, oh my goodness. Like, so I just know, like, with me, you know my story. And
Mhm.
I had the first 50 years of my life, I feel like I just spent in pain and crying and in tears. And even in this season with Deja and I being estranged without going into details because she's not here to defend herself or whatever, but which I'm a mom, so that hurts. It
Yeah,
still hurts because, but anyway, um, I said the next 50 years, I'm going
absolutely.
to live, I'm going to laugh, I'm going to travel,
Yeah.
I'm going to fornicate. Look, I had to put it tastefully because Aunt Erlene and mommy watching, you know. But whatever brings happiness,
Yep.
because I feel like I've paid my dues.
Absolutely. I
I've
agree.
cried all the tears that I
Absolutely.
plan on crying.
I agree.
So
I definitely agree.
so we
Let
getting
me
ready
tell
to
you something.
start a travel. Shantae laughing at me.
That I'm trying to tell you, I am ready. So looking forward to traveling. I refuse to allow anything to disturb my peace. I'm like,
That
I
part.
feel like, let me tell you something. I have given all of me to, you know, just being a good mother, raising my children, doing what I, right now, I'm just ready to enjoy life, travel. If it doesn't make me happy, I'm not doing it, and I'm not gonna feel bad about not doing it. If
Exactly.
it disturbs my peace, I'm removing it, and not gonna feel bad about removing it.
Exactly.
I'm at that point in my life right now.
And that's because, I just said I'm too good of a person to keep going through the hell that I've
Yeah,
been through.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and now I Sha- Shantae said girls trips up next. Yes, I'm
Yeah,
for it.
yeah, I'm ready. I'm
Because
ready.
it's like I'm too good of a person
Mhm.
to go through the hell. My podcast makes me happy. I
Good, good.
can't work, but I can bring positivity. So many times on the internet, there's this negativity here, there, and everywhere. So in my little corner of the internet, I want to inspire, uplift, motivate, encourage, and you know. It may not seem like much to some people, but God gave me an assignment, and
Yes,
I plan on doing it to the best of my abilities.
yes.
So with that, what do you feel like is, if it's something you can share,
Hmm.
what is your God-given assignment
Hmm.
outside of parenting? Because you get ready to say something about the kids, I can
You
feel
know
it.
what? Let me tell you something. I'm not going to say anything about the kid. You know what? I just um feel like for me, I'm real big on just being a vessel especially when it comes to young girls,
Hmm.
young
Hmm.
women, young mothers,
Yes.
because of my journey,
Hmm.
because of what I went, how I bust my butt. And I bust my butt with my career. I bust my butt
Hmm.
with school. I bust my butt with So I'm just real big on. I want to be able to just be a vessel. I want to be able to help young girls and talk to them and just inspire them and
Right.
just let them see what you don't have to whatever you're going through right now, that don't let that determine who you are as a
Exactly.
person. Just
Exactly.
it may be rough, right? And I mean, I went through, and let me tell you, I've had people who have mentored me because I have to be honest. Back in the day, I was a little rough around the edges, and when I first went into my career, one of
Hmm.
the things, and I'll never forget, it was an older gentleman, and he was a mortgage loan officer, and he
Hmm.
said, "You know what?" And he sat me down and said, "You are so bright. You're so intelligent." He was like, "You are, such a sweet, beautiful person." And he said, but I still had that rough around edges. And he was
Hmm.
like, you have to let that guard down, so that you can grow and so that
Hmm.
you can be exactly who God intended. I'll never forget that
Wow.
gentleman. And he actually just retired from the bank
Hmm.
February of this year. And he came to me and gave me a hug, and he's like, I'm so proud of you. He's like, you listen to, yeah, and things like that, and people who poured into me. I feel like it's my duty. It's my duty. I have to pour into other
Hmm.
young women the same way, people have poured into me.
And that's very important. Like I always remember Cassandra that used to live a couple doors down from me?
Yes, yes.
I tell, like, you have certain moments in your life. Now half the time I can't even remember what I ate for breakfast this morning. But there's certain moments in my life that are very profound and made a mark on me. And
Yep.
I remember, because her brother was finer than wine.
Yeah.
Greg was fine. And I remember everybody had a crush on him, like, and I was trying to impress him. My mother used to smoke. and I had stole a pack of her cigarettes so I can impress him, and I'm gonna smoke a cigarette in front of him, and I thought back then, you know,
Mhm.
if I had a potty mouth, I thought that was making me grown,
Yep.
and I had to tell him because he actually said something to he schooled me, and I will never forget it. He number one didn't take advantage of me because I was ripe for the picking. You know, he didn't take advantage of me,
Right.
and he said using profanity doesn't make you grown.
Mm.
It's not very ladylike. And
Mm.
he was like, and how you carry yourself is what a man is looking for. No man wants. Shantae talking about I'm screaming. He was like, he really schooled me on because he was a mature. He was in
Right.
college,
Right.
and he was like, no man wants a potty mouth woman smoking cigarettes
Mm.
on his arm, you
Wow.
know. And,
Yep.
and he didn't say it in a negative way. He said it
Right.
like a big brother.
Right. Right.
And I remember that being one of the catalysts. Mommy, when I was raising Deja, her father wasn't doing what he was supposed to do, and
Right.
I was trying to support a child on $6 an hour,
Right.
and I remember this one time she needed medicine or something, and I was just trying to come up with the money, and mommy pulled me aside. And that's another thing. She When me and mommy have conversations, that's me and mommy's conversation. She
Right.
don't, she don't tell Shantae. Like, we
Nope.
have our own relationship outside of you and Shantae.
Right.
And she pulled me aside because she
Look, and
couldn't
I'm
help.
listening. Like, what happened? She didn't tell me. I don't recall this. Okay.
Right,
See,
right,
mommy didn't tell
exactly.
me.
Right. Wait, Shantae says, Sissy, they have secret
Yeah,
conversations.
you see me.
Yes,
What
we do. Yes, we
happened?
do. And she pulled me aside and she said, don't ever come around here and be going without for something for you or that baby. She said,
mm,
when you become a parent, there's no such thing as pride.
mm.
She was like, and don't ever be afraid to open your mouth and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
say what you need. She was like, never
Right.
come around me needing for you or that baby.
Mm.
It's one thing if I don't have it to give. It's
Right.
another if I don't know you need it.
Mm-hmm. That's mommy. That's mommy.
Right.
Yeah.
When people look at me and they see style and they see grace and they see class, they're looking at me emulating Christine Bland. And I tell
Oh.
her this all the time. She is the one who taught me how to be a woman, a real woman. When you see the classy side, like you said,
Mm.
because I can be a little rough around the
Right.
edges too, if you
Right.
just, but it takes a lot to bring that out. But when you see the way I dress, the way I carry myself, um, mommy, are you watching? I need a new car. Shante,
Well, she said she need a new car.
she need a new car. Um, when 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 you see me throw my clothes on. Like, she always say, I'm her prissy baby.
Yeah.
I'm the prissy daughter,
Yep.
and nothing makes me happier than when mommy gives her stamp of approval on an outfit or how
Yep.
something that I've done,
Yep.
you know, and it's just a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, like the sisterhood that I and Shantae carry, um means so much to me, and
Right.
that's something else that I wanted to display. Like, yes, I'm proud of my sister, the VP, but you're my sister,
Yes,
and the love, the genuine love that we have for one another. Like we will go to war. The three of us will go to war for each other.
yes,
And
we will. Yes, we will.
have, and have, and I just, like I said, I just wanted, when I asked you to be on the show, I wanted to publicly say that I'm proud of you, that I
Me
love you,
too. Oh,
that
thank you. I love
you
you
mean the
too.
world to me. And yeah. So group hug,
Right,
Shantae,
right.
group
Oh, thank you,
hug.
Sissy.
And if there's like, if you ever need a platform, like anything you need to get out there, whatever the case may be, I'm here. I'm
Absolutely.
always here for you. I'm always gonna love you. I'm always gonna go to war for you.
Oh,
And I thank God for my nieces, because me and Tayana, that's my
yes,
selfie baby. When
yes,
we get
yes,
together, we got to
yes,
do our selfies.
yes, yes. Selfie queen, I'm telling
Yes,
you.
yes, that's my Buddhist thing. So, is there anything that you would like to say in parting, like anything that's on your heart, anything that you want young ladies to know, like what would be, I guess, what would be your words to a young lady that started out just like you, a young mother, and she may be at her wits end, because we've all had those times where the baby's crying, this is not going
Right.
right, that's not going right, and you feel like giving up. What are you going to tell that young lady?
What I would tell her is it's okay to not be okay. At that particular time, it's okay. If you need help, if you need, open your mouth up. Open your mouth up. Go to whoever you have that's in your supports. Any support system, anybody in your village. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to not be okay. And I don't want you to think that the road is going to be easy, because it's not, but
Mm-mm.
it's definitely going to be rewarding. I want you to fight through it. I want you to know that God got you. Fight, keep pushing through, and it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Don't think that where you are right now is where you're going to end up, because you're not. Keep
Hmm.
pushing through and know that the best is yet to come.
I love it. I love it, and I love you.
I love you too.
And we need a sister date soon. The three
Chat.
of
I'm
us.
ready. I'm
Okay.
ready.
We need to plan a sister date real soon.
Okay. I'm ready.
So with that, we're getting ready to, and you stay on when I end it for everybody
Okay.
else today. But
Okay.
so as you go about your day, if you see a queen, if you see a queen and her crown is a little bit tilted, do whatever you can to help that queen straighten that crown up on her head. If she doesn't have one and you have an extra one, give her the crown, loan her the crown. If you have a couple extra dollars, help her purchase the crown. But whatever you do to help that queen get her crown in place, zip your lips. Don't tell nobody else what you had to do in order to help that queen get that crown on her head. We need to practice being our sisters' keepers. Not for accolades, because if you're doing it for the accolades, you're not doing it, it's not heartfelt. You're doing it for recognition. And do it out of genuine love for the sisterhood. And be your sister's safe place. We all need a safe place to land from time to time.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm going to say peace. Remember, the enemy separates, we unify. Peace and blessings. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Next week, we go back to 8 p.m. because my sister's so special. I changed the time for her.
I appreciate it.
Oh, and speaking of which, how was the award ceremony?
It was good. Look, I was doing the mother thing. See?
Right, exactly.
Look, it
Okay,
was good. It was good. We have another one tomorrow and a farewell, and then we hitting the road. Yep.
and I need some pictures.
Yeah, I got you. I got
Okay, okay. So with that, peace and blessings. T, you stay on. I love y'all. Everybody in the chat, thank you for being there. As y'all know, I will be replaying it a couple of times because this is my sister. Yeah, we talked about her
you.
career, but this is more about the love of my sister.
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
with that, I'm gonna say goodbye, and I'll see you next week.
Good night.